Good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Dispenza. That is my cell phone right there. It is also the hotline. And anyone who has tuned in previously knows that you can call me with questions about hair color at any time. I answer the phone up to 10 o'clock at night. Hi, Chris. And uh, uh, I answer it even on the weekends. But once again, only up to 10 o'clock at night. If you want to send me an email, I have two different email addresses. The Worldwide Hair Colorists Association, which is, as you all know, I'm president of that. And this is my Chromastics email if you have Chromastics questions that you want to ask. Today's a little bit unusual because I'm only going to cover one single topic today, and that is salt and pepper hair. And it's, for me, it's the most important topic of all topics that we ever cover, because it is equal, not exactly equal. There's a one or 2 percentage points difference, but we do just as much salt and pepper hair color as we do highlighting in the salon. So the two of them are the top two services that we perform in a typical salon. And at any time, if you have questions, feel free, just go ahead and ask, as long as they're on topic about salt and pepper hair. And we're going to get going. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, gray hair does not exist. You'll notice that when I refer to hair that we generally call gray, I say salt and pepper. And the reason that it does not exist is because it is an optical illusion. It's an optical illusion when we see the color gray. And it's when white hair is interspersed with naturally pigmented hair, an optical illusion takes place and we see the color gray. Oh, I just realized I haven't shut my phone off, so I have to turn it off if I can figure out what I'm doing here. Nope, that's not it. Let me see.
Sorry, I'm having.
Slide to power off. Okay, my phone is off. Optical illusion. That's it. When the two of them are mixed together, we see an optical illusion of the color gray. Now, the lighter the natural color, the lighter the gray, the optical illusion of gray that we see. So what it means is this: if someone with natural blonde hair is intermixed with white hair, then you get the illusion, or you think you're seeing, pearl gray hair. Except if you wanted to, you could take that hair and you could divide it into two piles. If you cut it off the head, you could divide it into one pile that was 100% white, and the second pile, which was just natural colored hair. And that's the optical illusion, because when you mix them together, you think you see the color gray. If you have light brown hair and you mix it with white, because it's salt and pepper, you get the illusion of slate gray hair. So slate is a little bit darker than a pearl gray, slate gray. And then if you intermix dark brown hair with white hair, you get the illusion of very smoky gray hair. So that's the darkest one of all. But you have to treat hair differently when it's salt and pepper. And when I say it's different, it's because you choose the technique that you're going to use according to two things. First of all, what you want the final appearance to be, and secondly, the texture of the hair, because you make adjustments to formulas for both of these. So let's talk about the techniques, and these are techniques that I have been using in the salon for many years, And I can only tell you about things that I know firsthand and that I can see and I can touch and I can do. And that's what I want to talk about, the techniques that I've been using in the salon. So I have had 4 different techniques that I've used primarily on salt and pepper hair. Number 1 is called soft coverage. Number 2 is called a super glaze coverage, which is another way of saying blending color. It can be blended or it can be complete coverage. Third one is complete coverage, because that's a very misleading term, as you will find out. And the fourth one is reduction of white. Okay, so now let me talk about each one individually. Let me start with soft coverage. When you're going to do soft coverage on salt and pepper hair, you're going to use a deposit only color, and that should be, now remember, soft coverage. It should be 2 or 3 lighters, 2 or 3 levels lighter than the natural color, in which case all of the white hair will be covered and the naturally pigmented hair will appear a tiny bit deeper. So the lighter you go, of course, the less deepening that you'll see in it. And you use 10 volume developer and you process it anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. But the most important point is it must not contain ethanolamine. And the reason for that is because ethanolamine, which is also known as MEA, is the ingredient that we put in non-ammonia hair color that lightens the base color. It's as simple as that. A super glaze. Now, I want to talk about a super glaze in a little bit more in depth because it's very important. A super glaze allows the colorist, that's you, to use a much lighter color, but you don't cause brassiness in the hair. Once again, it must not contain ethanolamine, MEA, because it won't work. Now, the reason that I say the super glaze, so let me tell you about, let me first tell you how we do it. The first thing you do is you shampoo the hair with clarifying shampoo and towel dry it. Now, when you shampoo the hair, you shampoo the hair. You don't rub the scalp because you're going to do a second procedure immediately following. So you shampoo the hair, you just gently run the clarifying shampoo through the hair, and while you're mixing the product, that's when you just leave it just set in the hair for the 2 or 3 minutes that it takes you to mix the color. You rinse it out and then you towel dry the hair. Towel dried means that when you squeeze it with your hand, you don't get a wet hand. 85% of the color of the moisture has been removed from the hair. Donna Hogg just asked, how does MEA lighten the base and how much in terms of level? Okay, here's the issue. Remember that in non-ammonia hair color, we substitute ethanolamine for ammonia. That's non-ammonia hair color. But if it's not ammonia hair color, it lightens anywhere, regular hair color, lightens anywhere from about 2 to 2.5 levels. It's not as effective as ammonia at catalyzing the developer for lightening action, but nevertheless, it's there. And what also happens is that if you take ethanolamine, MEA, and you mix it, instead of putting it in with permanent color, you mix it as a deposit only color, all you're doing is just using most likely a lesser amount of ethanolamine so that you lower the pH of the product. However, if If ethanolamine lightens your hair when it's mixed with permanent color and developer, why wouldn't it lighten your hair when it's mixed with deposit only color and developer? Even though the developer is only 10 volume in most cases, and most of the time you process it with deposit only color, it will still lighten the hair. Now, but with a super glaze, after you've mixed the product, you know, and you've rinsed it, you've rinsed the color from the hair, you towel dried it real well. It's equal parts of permanent and deposit only color. Now you mix it with an equal amount. In other words, if you're using an ounce and an ounce, then you mix it with 2 ounces of 20 volume developer. Can you use 2? Can you use 10 volume? Yes, but there's a reason why you're mixing it with 20 volume developer, because you process it from 20 to 30 minutes. But look at here, and here's the reason why. Here's permanent color. It's 100% oxidative dyes. It has a pH of 10.5, and you can use anything from 10, 20, 30, or 40 volume developer. And it contains either ammonia or ethanolamine, MEA, and it will lighten from 1 to 4 levels depending upon what you're using and the level of color that you're working with. Now, deposit only color is 100% oxidative dyes. It has a pH of around 8, and it uses anything depending upon who makes it. It can be 7.5, it can be 10 volume, it can be 12 volume. It just depends upon who makes it. But if it contains MEA, it will lighten your hair. If it contains AMP, AMP stands for amino methylpropanol, then your lightening action is minimalized to almost 0. So remember what I said here. It will only work, a super glaze will only work with ammonia and AMP. Now, deposit only color, depending upon whether it's mixed with MEA, it gives you anywhere up to a level of lift, or AMP, pretty close to 0. So you can't see any lightning action whatsoever. But look at what happens when you mix the two of them together. You still have 100% oxidative dyes. Your pH now has changed from a 10.5 and an 8 to right in the middle, 9.25. And the reason is because you changed the amount of MEA, of AMP and ammonia in the product. So you dropped your pH. Thirdly, you mix it with 20 volume developer. But the reason you mix it with 20 volume developer is because if you time it for 20 minutes, you get a half of a level of lift. But if you time it for 30 minutes, you get a full level of lift. So consequently, when you lighten hair 1/2 to 1 level, you don't pull brassiness. And so consequently, it allows you to use a super glaze, and allows you to use a very light level 8, level 9, level 10 deposit only combination that gives you a deposit only level of 8, 9, or 10, and you still don't see brassiness. Donna said, does it matter the peroxide volume? The peroxide volume, remember, determines how much lightning action you get and also how much deposit of color that you get. So the lighter the higher the the lower the peroxide volume, the less lightning you get and the less deposit of color. But if you're using it with 20 volume and you've dropped your pH down and you are only using half the ammonia, once again, you only get a half of a level of lift for 20 minutes and a full level after 30 minutes. Does Shades EQ or Chromastics deposit color have MEA? The last time, first of all, Chromastics, 0. We don't use MEA in anything whatsoever. As far as I know, once again, you have to check, always look at the label, or in the case of Shades EQ, the packaging, because it'll have the ingredients on it, and just look up and see if it says ethanol amine. If it's ethanol amine, that means it has MEA in it. Once again, Kim has asked me, are Redken Shade Cream and Cream Plus free of ethanolamine, MEA? Once again, look at the packaging, look at either the box or look at the tube itself. And if it says ethanolamine, that means it has MEA in it. It's as simple as that. Trey says, would you always use the same level of permanent and deposit only shades? No, you can use any combination that you want, anything that you want. You can use the same, you can use 2 different ones, and it makes no difference which one is permanent and which one is deposit only. It just simply, it's just your choice, just whatever levels you want. Carrie asked, what's the name for AMP? It's all one word. It stands for amino methyl propanol. Amino methyl propanol. Sonia says the last time she took a look, it does have MEA, not Chromastic. She's talking about, I believe she's talking about Redken products. What would the label say? Carrie, once again, it'll say, the alkalizer will say ethanol amine, ETHANOLAMINE. Ethanolamine is another word for MEA. Carrie, I don't understand what you wrote AMP, but I don't know what you're referring to. Unless you're asking what it is again. Amino methyl propanol. Sonia says Redken does. Once again, I don't talk about other products because I'm not responsible for them. Oh, I answered it. Thank you, Carrie. Okay, now this makes sense. Hopefully this makes sense. Now, let me go on now to complete gray coverage. This is a very misleading term. And the reason that it's very misleading is because most colorists believe that the white hair has been tinted to the same level as the dark hair, as the pigmented hair. That's not correct. That's wrong. Because complete gray coverage, you get complete gray coverage when all of the white hair is colored to the chosen level, which is not necessarily the same as the dark hair. It can be any level that you choose. So if you're doing soft coverage and you choose a level 8 color, that means that all the white hair is going to be tinted to level 8. If you're using a super glaze and you choose a level 8 color, once again, it's going to means all the hair is going to be tinted to level, the white hair is going to be tinted to level 8, but even though you get one level of lightening, you're not going to see any warmth in the hair unless you put red in it, gold or red, because lightening hair a half of a level or a level does not generally show warmth. It can sometimes, but not always. And lastly, complete gray coverage. Complete gray coverage means 100% gray coverage, but it means each white hair is colored to whatever level you choose. Okay? Sharon Rogers. Oh, look at Sharon. Sharon is one of our master colorists. She says, I can't recommend try super glaze enough. It's so pretty and processes quickly. I use it on almost all salt and pepper clients. So did I. Sharon, thank you for that. What does MEA stand for? The M is for mono. So the technical term can be either monoethanolamine or just ethanolamine. They're the same thing. Monoethanolamine or ethanolamine, same thing. Leon Glowski said, do you advise mixing N series with A in chromastics? Leon, I'm not sure what you're asking here. Are you asking about if I'm mixing permanent colors together, or are you talking about mixing permanent and deposit only? I don't understand what. Give me a little bit more clarification there. And then one more thing here. Oh, I forgot to oh my gosh, I forgot to hit the play button. Duh. Let me go here to the next one. Now, reduction of white. This is the next topic. This young lady came to a webinar that I was doing. Excuse me, I was teaching a class in Las Vegas at a salon, and this person came in the day before, and I did a reduction of white in her hair, and then she didn't show up for the class. So nobody got to see the finished color. But this is how she came in with this hair color. And so what I did, the hair is tinted with low lights. This means low lights in foil to the same level as the natural hair. That's what a reduction of white means. I don't know what the next sign says. Sherry said, any tips for covering white hair when they want a strawberry copper color without hot roots? Yes, absolutely. Sherry, you can go either on YouTube, but that would be your best bet to go to YouTube, unless you're a member of the Worldwide Hair Colorists Association. But go to YouTube and look up Tom Dispenza, and then join my group, and there's more than 50 or 60 hair color videos there, and one of them is specifically about red colors, and particularly how to cover white hair without getting hot roots. And the answer is very simple. The answer is, the secret to doing it is you mix 3 parts of gold color with 1 part of red color, and that's where you end up with those beautiful copper colors or strawberry colors with no hot roots whatsoever. Once again, just go to YouTube, look up Tom Dispenza, search my name, join the group, and there's 60 plus videos there. Now let me see what the next one is here. Okay, here's a few more facts about hair color, about salt and pepper hair. First of all, gray hair, salt and pepper hair, is not more resistant to dye penetration. We can look at the amount of penetration we get by simply looking using a scanning electron microscope, and we can see how much of the color has saturated into the hair after so many minutes. Somewhere, something. I have slides on it. I'm sure they're up somewhere on YouTube. But dyes develop slower in white hair than they do in pigmented hair. So this is why often you have to add, it can be up to 15 more minutes of processing time when working on salt and pepper hair or on white hair, because dyes develop slower. But pigmented hair contains iron, magnesium, and zinc. Now, these three metals are naturally occurring in human hair. But what they do is they catalyze the reaction. They cause it to go a little bit faster. This is why most people with pigmented hair can be processed in 35 minutes, because it contains iron, magnesium, and zinc, and they catalyze the reaction, making it go faster. But salt and pepper hair can be and should be your friend. Now, the reason I say that is because once you realize that you're working with two different hair colors, you can do a ton of different things and get amazing results. Anything from, if it's only just a little white hair in there and you tint it using a deposit only, all the white hair looks highlighted. If you do a super glaze and you lighten it only half of a level, you're not going to have any warmth, but you're going to see all this beautiful color on all of the white hair. Leanne went back to, could we mix 8A with a 6N for gray hair in Chromastics liquid shades and deposit? The answer is absolutely yes. But if you're going to mix liquid and permanent together, mix them together and shake it up before you add your developer, because this is a permanent color is a cream, liquid is obviously a liquid, and deposit only are a cream. So in any case, if you're mixing permanent and deposit only, you can just add all three ingredients and shake it up and do it from an applicator bottle. If you're using liquid shades and permanent, mix the two of those together and then add the developer. Tom, would you be so kind to line up your chart to fit our screen again? Oh, in other words, it was too big. Okay, let me drop it down. There. Is that better? I hope that's better. I know that at one time you did not recommend mixing A's with the N's. Okay, that, Leon, is because when you mix neutrals and ash colors together, you get what's known as tobacco. Tobacco is a warm version of a cool color. I know that sounds weird, but there's another entire video on it on YouTube, and you end up with creating neutrals and ash shades together, create warm neutrals. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Or excuse me, warm ash colors. Susan says half of the cream. Okay, now it's back. Okay, where was I? All about color. Now, so this is what I just said. If you have anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30% white hair and it's spaced throughout the head, that's when it can appear as highlighted hair. So that if you use a deposit only color or a super glaze and you use a light one, then all of that 20 to 30% of hair will appear to be highlighted throughout the entire head. If you tint only the white hair using deposit only color, the white hair will appear highlighted. That's what I just said. Just remember, color must not contain, and there's that word again, ethanolamine. Now this is MEA. It's just a second word for MEA. All right. So I'm going to leave that up there a second. So anybody who wants to copy it can. Now, this is a real quick seminar today, but let me tell you that, where am I? Here we go. Now, for those of you who want to, for previous Master Colorist videos, now this means I did last year, I did an entire series of Master Colorist videos that are different than these. I'm just doing them in different orders. However, the information is basically the same. But anyone can look at these. Go to www.hca.org, not .com. Go to .org. This is the Worldwide Hair Colorists Association. Worldwide Hair Colorists Association.org. Now you click on the tab at the top that says Master Colorist. Now there'll be 9 videos that are there, and they are free to view for anyone and everyone. You do not have to be part of the Master Colorist group to view them. Now, once you do go through them all, you then will see a sample test and information about anyone who wants to take the Master Colorists program, which is, first of all, you do a test. Secondly, you after you pass the test, you do a makeover, and then after you've done the makeover, you do a one-on-one with one of the Master Colorists or with me, and it's a Q&A, and it's rapid answers, but none of them are trick questions. None of them are trick questions. Let me go. Kim has a question. Super glazing is a demi-color? No, it is not. It is a mixture of permanent color and deposit only color. But you don't lift one to one. Here, let me go back to this chart. Let me show you this chart again. Now, see, it will, if you're timing it for 30 minutes, excuse me, 20 minutes, you're going to get 1/2 of a light level of lightning. If you time it for 30 minutes, you're going to get 1 level of lightning. Got it? So it depends upon what the timing is, regardless of the developer. Even though it's 20 volume, you still only get 1/2 a level of lift at 20 minutes. Okay, super glazing is it's not a demi color, it's a super glaze, which means it's deposit only and will lift 1/2 of the level. Right. Okay, I think Kim, if you have more questions, go back here. Remember this? There's my phone number. You can call me on this after we finish this webinar. and you'll have to leave a message the first time, because my phone automatically sends everybody to voicemail on the if they've never called before. If you're already in my database, then the call will come through. Sherry, any tips for people with 90% white hair that want deposit but keep the color light? Sure. The answer is yes, I would absolutely do a super glaze, but I would do a super glaze at level 8 or 9, which is the lightest color. Now, if you do a super glaze at level 10, remember that level 10 color is very, very light, and you barely have any coverage. And that's what you want at level 10. That's why pastel colors, platinum and silver are done on when you want stop talking, Tom. Slow down. The reason that you would cover 90% hair with deposit only or super glaze is because they would both allow you to do very light color, but would not pull brassiness. Okay, I had to slow down and take a deep breath there. Okay, Carrie says she has a client who's 70% gray. I'm assuming you mean she's 70% white. She likes solid coverage with no red or gold undertones or reflection. I use 2/3 of a 5N series, 1/3 ash with 15 volume, and sometimes she fades to a reddish tone. Okay, first of all, Carrie, I'm going to tell you the same thing. I want you to call me at this phone number right here and leave a message, and I'll call you back. Assuming that you're not in my database already, and we'll talk about formulating, because I need to know what color line you're using in order to give you an accurate answer to this. Sonia says deposit only is permanent, demi is demi-permanent. Okay, that's a really interesting question. Here's what the lowdown is on color. First of all, if your color comes out of a tube, sort of a no color or beigey looking, that means that it's 100% oxidative. 100% oxidative. But demi is not demi-permanent color. It can be a combination of demi-permanent and permanent, but if it comes out of a tube and it already is some color, that means it's a combination of it can be 2 or 3 different dyes that are in there. Donna said, if gray hair is missing the catalyzing minerals, how do you get enough deposit in 20-minute super glaze? Very interesting, very good question, Donna. Because one of the things that I've never told anyone is that when we make deposit only color and it does not contain MEA, it only contains AMP, aminomethylpropanol, I have to increase the dye load dramatically in order to get it to the level that it normally is. So when you make a super glaze, what you end up with is a super glaze color that contains AMP and ammonia, and the ammonia causes the color to develop to the proper level in just 20 minutes time. I know that sounds strange, but it's a chemistry thing. And once again, Donna, if you want to talk, give me a call. Trey said, when mixing an N series with a tonal series of different levels, does the percentage of white influence your tonal choice? No, it absolutely does not. You mix any two levels together because you're going to get the same response. You're going to get either half a level or a level. Oh, Susan said, terrific question, Donna. Siri says, long ago, I read somewhere that hair will get darker before going gray. No, I've never heard that anywhere ever in my entire life. And I don't know where you read it, but I would really like, if you can find it again, I would love for you to let me know where it is, because I don't believe that. I do not believe your hair ever gets darker. If anything, it tends to get lighter before going before turning white, because the amount of melanin produced gets less and less and less, and then just shuts off completely. Okay, now back down here again. I had something else I was going to say. That was the last one we did. Oh yeah, this is if you want to see the entire series over, the one from last year. It's very good. Now, on May 8th, I'm going to be in Melville at the Marriott, which is on Walt Whitman Road. And it's an event called Learn All About Hair. And you can look it up online.com. And I will be doing an hour presentation. I'll be making hair color from chemicals, but there are, I think, 5 or 6 other really, really good people. Everything from Lisa from Coastline is going to be there, and Nick French is going to be there. We're talking amazing people. If you have the opportunity, go to learnallabouthair.com, and you can come out to the Marriott. I'm sure there'll be plenty of seats available. Well, I don't know. I don't know how many people have signed up already, but go ahead and look it up should you want. Now, next time I'm going to do part 5, and part 5 is going to be time and temperature and how changing them affects a color, because most people don't realize that both the amount of time you leave on and the temperature of the hair coloring product dramatically affects the hair color deposit. I'm going to talk about bleaching and lightening. I'm going to talk about the lightening systems. Now that's different than bleaching and lightening, because the lightening systems means all the different ways that we have of lightening the hair. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is damage to the hair and what causes damage to the hair, and all of those things. Susan just asked, will the event in, I don't know whether or not it will be. That's very good. What state? Long Island, New York. It's in New York. Melville is, once again, it's on Long Island. It's in New York. For that particular client, for this client, Sherry asked what was the formula that I used. Her dark hair was very, very dark. So I used I mixed together a deposit and a deposit only because I have black color in deposit only, and I have darkest brown color in permanent color. So even though black color is in a brown tube, it does not contain any ammonia whatsoever. And what happens is that I put it in a brown tube just because most people, black color, people think of it as a permanent hair color. It is a permanent hair color, but you don't need lightning action. So I didn't put any ammonia in it. I just put AMP in it and created a spectacular black color. So what I did for this client was I mixed together darkest brown and dark brown and a little bit of black, and I made darkest brown color. I did 3 parts, I did equal parts of medium brown and black, and that gives me darkest brown color. And then I mixed it with 10 volume developer and did it as low lights on her hair. Unfortunately, she didn't show up. Oh, Anne says she's going to be there. Good. Now, for those of you that are interested, this is the book that I wrote that says Becoming a Master Colorist. Whether you buy it on eBay or you buy it directly from me, it's exactly the same price, $38. And if you're outside the United States, you have to go to Amazon.com. If you're inside the United States, go to TomDispenza.com. Guys, this is it. It's been quick. Thank you all for being here. Oh, Sandy says she has the book, and it's amazing. I love that. Thank you, Sandy. Let me get rid of screen sharing here. Stop the share. And I'm going to end the webinar. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This will be up for viewing on YouTube in 2 or 3 days. And then tomorrow, I'll have the next webinar up. It'll be in 3 weeks. Bye.